Hello, we are ipX's. We are at CES 2025, where we're joined from Sean from BrainChip.
Hey, Guy. Good to see you.
Nice to see you. So, Sean's got very interesting things to talk about AI. He's got very interesting things to talk about where BrainChip is going, and I think it's really, really important to understand where BrainChip is going in the future. And you have a vision about where that's going in the future.
Absolutely.
So, the first question I'd like to ask you is, in terms of when we're talking to our community, every single one of them, it doesn't matter which application there are, they have a legacy. They have a legacy design, they have a legacy system, and that exists, and their job is to improve it. So if BrainChip didn't exist, what would be the target audience for where you're trying to say to them, if you engage with us, if you help us make greater systems, this would be you? So just talk, without BrainChip existing, what would be that environment? What would be that perfect customer for you today?
Well, I think that environment would be pretty boring, quite frankly. Let me just start with that. I think it would be very static. It would be a world of just slow incremental improvements, right? You know, BrainChip at its core is really cutting technology. So we're not looking for the 2-5% improvements. We're looking for improvements that are double and triple digits on everything we do. So there's no sense in kind of looking for these marginal improvements in products, to your point, of existing products and changing them. But if you want to do it right, really get the breakthrough kind of performance, you got to think big. And the trends here are undeniable, right? Movement of workloads out of the cloud data center, undeniable. The workloads moving toward the edge and the power sensitivity of the edge, undeniable. So for BrainChip, the idea has been and always will be about being the most efficient way to do this kind of workload. And you know, we're event-based, neuromorphic, whatever the word you want to choose, allows you to get this tremendous kind of benefit with exceptionally low power. That's it in a nutshell. Now, the magic is, when you have that kind of benefit and that huge kind of improvement to do it, and you're still in these kind of, you know, the environment you suggested, existing products, engineers who perhaps have done things for decades in a certain way.
Yep.
You want to make sure that you get those improvements, but you also want to make it easy to implement, which we do. Use industry standard tools, frameworks, which we do. Make it easy to implement when they put it in a chip, so it's digital, fully transportable, right? So you don't want to be a science project so far out that you can't do it. So breakthrough performance, easy to implement, easy to put into any kind of technology platform you want in the world. That's what we do here at the core and the essence.
Okay, so you've made a big, bold statement about it's not about incremental. It's about maybe 10-20% improvement. So today, what kind of design engineer and what application, because you talked about not having data going backwards and forwards to the cloud, doing the computing on the edge, that kind of thing. Today, where if somebody's going to come and knock on your door and say, Sean, I want that 20%. I've listened to the integration discussion. I've listened to the digital debate. I believe you. So therefore, I want to evaluate what BrainChip are doing. So let's talk about what you've seen at CES. What applications do you see where that 20% is absolute reality and you can deliver that?
Sure, or more.
Yep, more.
That's what I'm going to really stress. And I won't talk about, I'll even talk about our customer engagements. Again, we engage with customers or prospects around the world, right? And so we're seeing it cross industry, but specifically to answer your question. High demand in any kind of wearable device, whether it goes in your ear, goes on your wrist, goes on your face, some kind of glass. Very high demand in that domain. Why? You got to get high performance. The models are getting bigger and more complex. They got to run exceptionally well, low power. BrainChip is not only the underlying IP for acceleration. Those companies are also evaluating our breakthrough proprietary algorithm. It's called TENS, which is a state-based model or algorithm, and we're developing use case models on that algorithm in there. So if you really want to get the 1-2 punch of performance, you're going to get the underlying acceleration of the IP, being event-based, very low power, big jump on your power signature. You really want to get another double punch, you do a model based off of TENS. Now you've got an incredibly winning platform that allows you to do the same task with just a smidgen of the power consumption. So wearables, that environment for sure. Certainly, we're seeing a lot of interest in in-cabin experience for autos, for sure,
Yep.
as well.
Yep.
And the industrial IoT, right? Because industrial IoT is getting the demand. So what's underlying all that? More complex workloads, right? More demands around what the workloads are, bigger models, things like that. So if you can do a trend like us, you can do it with a low power. And quite frankly, when you do a model based off of 10s, you're going to do it with a much smaller model. It's great. One of our demos here in the suite, of course, we've now demonstrating LLMs on the edge over here. Very powerful. Who would ever thought 2 years ago we'd be showing something like that? But now, there it is right there in front of you.
We wouldn't have been doing it. We were hardly even talking about edge computing 2 years ago. So
right. Now you're talking about LLMs right there sitting in front of you on a device no bigger than what you carry in your wallet, right? So.
Yeah. Okay, so big, bold statements, which are good.
Yeah.
Proof points, which are good because you're able to talk about it.
Yeah.
And you'll be able to show demos because we've just been talking about it. And on ipXchange, we've shown lots of your demos. So we know that is absolutely provable. So you use auto. So let's use auto.
Okay.
Let's use auto. How do they engage with you? What's the proof points that they can come to you and say, you've made a big bold statement. I believe you. I've seen the demos. What's the engagement point at which they then can start evaluating and understanding how that 20%, sorry, forgive me.
Or more.
Yes, I've listened. 50%, whatever. What's the proof points that then you're able to go through that evaluation process?
Sure. It's really simple. When somebody envisions a product, whether it's a second generation, third generation, or a first generation, they start by speccing that product. And usually in that product, they say, oh, here's the functionality I need. I need to do X, Y, and Z. I need this kind of battery life. And to do that, I need this kind of software and these AI algorithms, right? And so when you do the AI algorithms, the first thing they say is, who can run these and give me the performance I want for these algorithms at the power signature? And so they'll always go out and look at the landscape. For us, that's exactly what we do. They say, when people contact BrainChip.com or directly through our sales force, first thing we ask is, what are you doing? What's your workload? What models are you running? Oh, let us take a look. We'll run them for you, give you the kind of data you're looking for around power consumption and performance. Oh, you want to try it too? We'll give you a dev kit now. We've shown you the numbers. You go ahead and do it from there, right? So that's the proof point they need to see it how it works. Just that simple.
Right. So you are actually able to give them something where they can plug it in and do a straight comparison against the performance that you say that they can get and the performance that they're getting today.
That's correct.
Okay. How do they do that?
How do they do that?
Yeah.
You mean how do they engage?
Yeah.
Through our sales organization, quite simply. And we've got a sales organization distributed around the world.
Right. Okay. Last question. We've been going backwards and forwards through going through CES. Obviously, wearables. So you use wearables as an example. We know that edge computing, speed, not sending data up through the cloud because that's very expensive. It also uses a lot of power. It uses a lot of data. All the things that you know because you're in charge of the company. And we know that power is absolutely imperative in that environment. So CES is all about future technology. As the CEO of BrainChip, where are we going to be in 18 months with all of this?
That's a great question because for us, the mantra I always speak in our company is we're never going to rest. The heart and soul is this company is innovation. Now, we spend a fair amount of our dollars on future stuff, right? Just future stuff. And we see tremendous potential on what I mentioned earlier, which is LLMs on the edge. So we're really leaning hard in perfecting that as our primary focus right now. But having said that, anything streaming in nature, this technology is ideal for. And when you think about edge environments, it's streaming. So we're just going to really lean hard on the LLM message and keep refining the power signature over and over again. We're going to stay true to our core. We believe this is where the sweet spot is in the market, and it's coming to us.
Right. I said that was the last question, but you happen to then drop in streaming. So now you've dropped in streaming. We're at CES. Where do you see in the edge model where streaming is going to play a part, where that's going to be important?
Probably a better question is, where is it not? Basically everything on the edge.
I'm allowed to ask questions if I want.
That's okay.
That's my prerogative. It's my channel. I can ask stupid questions. It's absolutely fine.
All right, there you go.
Yeah.
But if you
let me ask. Let me ask a more intelligent question.
No.
Sean, tell me where streaming is relevant.
And by the way, who said the Irish and the English couldn't get along anyways, right? So if you think on the edge, you're going to listen to something that's streaming in nature.
Absolutely.
If you're going to see something that's streaming in nature, some things are static, but most interesting AI applications are, something's going on.
Yeah, but the reason why I ask you that is because when we talk about the edge, we know that we're trying to do the compute on the edge. We're trying to do everything. We're trying to save power. We don't want to spend money sending data up to the channel. So we understand all of that. We understand the BrainChip play in that, and you're very, very strong-willed and very strongly opinionated because you're the leader of the company, and that's what you're going to do. And then you dropped in streaming, which is all about a connected device. Mm-hmm. So I was just wondering how that fits in. I'm just asking how that, because that's opposite to the first part of the conversation.
Not really. I just see streaming as the environment that feeds into those the inference part of it, because it's all streaming data around you. It's not typically static in these environments. If you're monitoring or doing some denoising, that's streaming. It just
I see. So I misunderstood.
Yeah.
I now understand what you meant by that.
Okay,
I understand. Sean, thank you. Very good update from CES.
Guy, it's always a pleasure.